Jess. I am with the Client Services and Support team as well as the writing team. So we're very excited to be able to show you kind of the tips and tricks on how to be successful with your account. And I want to go over a few housekeeping points really quickly. You would want to ask any questions that you have for us on the questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. You may need to push the orange arrow to expand the control panel to see the questions area. So just to let you know, you are welcome to ask us questions there, and we'll have about 40 to 45 minutes of presentation with questions and answers at the end. So without further ado, we'll get started. Today our panelists include Jeremy Anderson, who's our Director of Client Services and Support, and then Karen Murphy, who's also in Client Services and Support as well. So I will hand it on over to, I believe, Jeremy, are you going first?
Yeah, yep, I'll be starting out today.
All right, and are you able to see my screen?
Yes, there we go. Yep, just waiting for the PowerPoint there.
All right.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, wonderful.
Well, yeah, welcome everybody, and glad you could join us today. Going to run through just a couple of really important parts of the site as you're getting familiar with FlexJobs and starting your job search using the site. We're going to go over the advanced search options page, which I'm going to talk about for a few minutes, and then I'm going to pass it over to Karen, where she's going to talk about setting up your resume profile. Again, these are really two of the basic things that you kind of want to have down as you're starting to use the site, and that will basically help you get the most out of using FlexJobs. So Jess will be flipping between our PowerPoint and the actual site as we're showing you things on both of these sections today. So Jess, if you wouldn't mind going to the first slide, or the next slide. So basically the advanced search options page, and actually if you go to the site, we'll talk about where it's at, where you can find it first. Perfect. Okay, so when you log into your FlexJobs account, this is the page that you come to. So this probably looks familiar to most everybody on the call. This is your My FlexJobs homepage. This is kind of where everything starts. So just kind of briefly going over this page quickly. At the top you see there's a message inbox. So if you have a message from FlexJobs or from an employer, that's where it's going to show. Next down is new jobs of interest. These are jobs that match your profile. So then they will show up there as suggestions of jobs that may match what you're looking for. Always have a tip in the middle of the screen. Next is the job search activity, where you can view recently viewed jobs, applications you may have submitted, save jobs, save searches. And then down in the lower left, this is what Karen's going to be talking about in just a few minutes, the resume profile is there. You can see two different resume profiles set up. And then the section we're going to look at right now is on the right-hand column. So just over here to the right, and it's got the orange title, Related Job Search Options. First one there, Advanced Search Options. That's where we're going to start. So when you click on Advanced Search Options, basically it's going to bring up this page. And this is really where you can kind of play around with your search. You can really drill down. You can leave it pretty general as well and just kind of see what's available. But we're just going to walk through quickly each of these sections and kind of give you some tips and highlights and on how it works and kind of what to do when you're on this page. So the first section we have there is the keywords. Now basically, you know, just kind of like any other keyword search, you can search by keywords. So for example, you know, we can search for a writer. So if Jeff types in writer and executes that search, basically it comes up with any job that has the word writer in the job posting. Now, so if you go back now, just to show you how this is kind of different, if you type in the word writing instead of writer, you're going to see different jobs now that have the word writing in it instead of writer. So just something to be aware of when you're searching. There's obviously you can do this with a lot of different words, but you can look at different results just by changing something, pretty basic with the words. So also, if you stay on this page for just a second, I wanted to show a couple other things. You'll notice that first job. So it says Mobile Web Applications Engineer, full-time telecommute, Portland, Oregon, and it's got a push pin, yellow push pin. Basically, we have icons around each job, and basically this is telling you that a candidate needs to work and live in the city specified. So this employer is looking for someone in Portland, Oregon. So that's what that means. And then if scroll down a little bit and you see if we have any other different icons on this page. Okay, for example, right there we've got one with the Canadian flag. So this company is looking for candidates who live in Canada. Here's one with the U.S. flag. Now that means that that's a job open to candidates located anywhere in the United States. So really important that there's no location requirement on that job other than living in the U.S. You could live in Denver, you could live in Los Angeles. It doesn't matter to that employer. One other one that's different here is the blue push pin that Jess is looking at right there. That means candidates need to be located in a specific region of the country. So this one, they're saying Denver, which correlates to that yellow push pin, or Pacific, which correlates to the blue push pin. So again, they're looking for someone, probably ideally in Denver, but if you're in the Pacific region, then you could be considered a candidate as well. So if you scroll back up to the top of this page, just one other thing to highlight here is the icon guide. You see that right above the posted date. If you click on that, that's going to remind you what these icons mean. Yeah, so just a really good quick reference right there. The one other thing to point out on this page is just above the icon guide is the Save This Search button. So once you get a search that you like that is really giving you the results that you're happy with, the types of jobs, locations, whatever the case may be, you can save that search so you don't have to enter that criteria again. And then you can go to your saved search file and pull that search up at any time. So it's really a good time saver. So if you just want to go back to the advanced search options page, then we'll just kind of move through these other pieces. So the next, okay, actually one other thing I wanted to point on this page is the little tips button above each of these places where you can fill in the information. So each one has a tip. If you put your cursor over that, it's basically going to give you a tip for that category or for what you can enter in there. So again, this is talking about the different results you get by the different words that you have in the search. So the next one, exclude words. This is again pretty basic. If you're looking for a job but you don't want a freelance job, you could type in the word freelance, and then your search is going to bring back. Well, it's going to exclude any jobs that have the word freelance in them. In this case. So again, it's filtering writing jobs and it's taking out the word freelance, so you wouldn't see any freelance jobs there. So again, that's what that option is for. Okay, the next one is U.S. location. Here you can be as broad or you can drill down as much as you'd like. You can enter city, state. You can enter zip code if you want to get down to the zip code level. And so you can do that as however you'd like. Here, just put in Denver, Colorado. So again, that's going to filter writing jobs in Denver. What it also does, so you'll notice that you see Denver on that first job and you see the U.S. flag on the next one. It's going to give you Denver jobs, but it's also going to give you jobs that are open anywhere in the U.S. Because if you live in Denver, you would still be a candidate for that job, even though it doesn't specify Denver, because it's open anywhere in the U.S. So you're going to see both, which is really a good way to search the site, because these are any jobs that you would be open to by that location. All right, so going back, and then the other option there is international. You can click on the drop down, and again, that's going to bring up countries that you can search by a country if you'd like. So again, that's pretty self-explanatory, but that's where you would do. That's where you would do that. The next option, job types. Just if you click on the drop down there, it's going to give you some options. So this is the way jobs are classified on the site for job types: employee, freelance, volunteer, internship, and temporary. So employee, that would be like a W-2 type, employee job. Freelance also involves contract positions, so if it's like a 1099 contract position, freelance position, that's where you'd see that as under freelance. Then again, of course, volunteer, internships, and then temporary jobs. You can search by any of those categories, or sorry, any of those job types. Going over to the next one, work schedule. Again, this is how they're classified: full-time, part-time, flexible schedule, alternative schedule, occasional. What we mean by flexible schedule is, it could be an employer who is, letting you have a flexible schedule. So maybe working, 10 to 4 instead of 9 to 5, or 10 to 3, something like that, where the schedule is flexible. An alternative schedule could be maybe a swing shift or something like that, but just an alternative schedule, not a traditional 8 to 5 schedule. And again, occasional, seasonal, long-term, short-term. Different ways you can drill down if you want to see what kind of jobs are available with those work schedules. The next one on career level, again, a drop-down menu there. Pretty basic, so entry level, experienced, manager, or executive. You can choose that, whichever option you want to choose there. The next one, telecommuting level. This is an important one since we are FlexJobs, and that's really what we look for, is flexibility in jobs. You've got some different options there. You can choose a job that is only telecommuting, where you're always working from home. That'd be the 100% telecommute option. And then we also see mostly, some, and options for telecommuting. Now, those are companies who typically embrace telecommuting, but it's not a 100% telecommuting job. That may mean 1 day in the office, 3 or 4 days working at home. It could be 1 day working at home and 3 or 4 days in the office. It just depends on what the employer chooses for that position to be. The first selection is a nice one there, because you can choose any level, and that would basically take into account any level of telecommuting. So it includes all options that are below there. So it just depends on what you're looking for and what you want to choose in that one. And again, there's the tips bar that's going to tell you what it, kind of what it means and what each one is about. Categories. So categories, we have over 50 categories right now on the site. So again, if you have a good idea, say if you are, you know what you're looking for, what category it's in, you can select a category. All jobs on our site can be placed into 5 different categories. So there is some crossover of jobs and categories, but this is a good way if you want to see what's available in, editing or education or engineering. That's where you can select the categories and look for what types of jobs come up there. The next section is travel, and again, just a pretty basic couple of questions there. Yes, no, or maybe. And again, some employers will specify travel, some won't. So this is just, you can play around and see how that works for you. And then the last option is you can search by featured companies and award-winning employers on FlexJobs. So if you click on that drop-down menu, basically employers that are listed on our site will also have them categorized if they are a Business Week company, a Fortune 100 company. So for example, like if you wanted to only look at Fortune 100 companies, you could select that as an option. And then you would, if you ran that search, you would just see companies that have been awarded the Fortune 100 award, basically. So you can search by that. Is essentially how that works. So again, lots of different ways to search the site, and this is really where you want to start, is on the advanced search options page. And again, kind of showed you there how to get to this page, and then what the different selections are and how you can really drill down. You can start off by doing a very open search, which is kind of what we recommend, only searching a couple different options. And seeing how many results you get back, and then you can really drill down if you'd like to, and get more and more specific as you go. Jess is just kind of doing a sample search here of really drilling down a little bit more and focusing in, what the search is. Yeah, gives you a good idea there. Cool. So if you want to go back to the slide, yeah, I think we hit everything there. Going to the next next slide. And just have a few tips on the next slide of searching that'll help. So again, when you're searching, if you are entering a lot of criteria, you may not be seeing many results. So what we like to say, to start off more is not always better. Choosing too many options can limit your results. So again, keeping it more wide open to start is a great way to search. The next point we have is basically with the keywords, mix them up like we did. We did writing and we did writer just to see what kind of different options were out there. So, try variations on the word. Maybe you're into sales, maybe it's business development, maybe it's account management. Search by different words and see what you get. And again, the last point really is, if you're not getting enough results, kind of what we suggest as a starting point is to, select your telecommuting level, select your location, and maybe the job category, or maybe you leave that open. But you can, be as broad as you want. And again, then you can drill down and see where the jobs are and that. So, sometimes you don't want to limit yourself by the keyword, but just kind of play around with it and really get an idea of what is out there by doing the search. If you would go back just to the advanced search page, there was just a couple other ways to search the site that I wanted to touch on quickly before we pass it over to Karen. So if you scroll down under where the advanced search option is on the right, just wanted to point out just a couple of their links there. Okay, so we had advanced search options was the first one. A couple different things also. You can view all new jobs. So if Jess clicks on that one, that's going to show you really real time of the new jobs that are being entered on the site. So they go chronologically. So if you want to see new jobs that are coming on the site without any other filters, this is where you would look. So these are being entered right now by companies and by our research team. So these are the most recent and most current jobs right there. Always kind of a fun way to look if you want to leave it wide open and see what's out there. The next option on that right-hand bar menu is the view by categories. Again, give you a really quick snapshot idea of, if you want to look at marketing jobs. You can click on marketing jobs, online marketing jobs, whichever one you choose, and that's going to bring up everything that's there in that category. Again, just a really quick way to look at what's out there. Next one is a good one, view jobs by location. So you can pull up jobs by state. You can pull up jobs by national, jobs that can be done from anywhere in the U.S. You can choose a part of the country. And then down at the bottom, there's a couple of international options. You can choose anywhere jobs, which means they can be done anywhere in the world. And that's going to have a little globe icon, which is what that little guy is right there. That's a little globe. So instead of the flag, a globe means that that's anywhere in the world. There's no geographic constraints at all. So that's what that's about. What Jess is pointing out there, that's a good one to point out, is that this is a FlexJobs featured employer, and Karen, I think, is going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's an employer who is posting their job directly on FlexJobs, and typically you can, a lot of times you can apply through the website for that job with your resume profile. Sometimes they will direct the candidate back to their website as well, but again, these are featured employers. Yeah, so you can pull up, actually, if you only want to see featured employers, you can pull that up, and this is just going to give you the featured employer list, which is a good one as well. And quickly, the next one is you can search jobs by company name. Again, this is alphabetical, so if you have a company you're targeting, you can look them up on the site. Click on company name, that's going to give you all companies or all jobs posted by that company. So it's a great way to look for positions that way as well. And I think, yeah, those are really the highlights of how to search, different ways to find, companies, jobs by location, jobs by categories, and then really drilling down with that advanced search options page. So with that, I'm going to toss it over to Karen. She's going to talk about the resume profile. And then Yeah, any questions that you have, feel free to type those in and we'll go over those at the end, but that is really the kind of the basics of the advanced search. So Karen, take it away.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hi, everyone. We're going to, like Jeremy said, go into the purpose of your resume profile. Right now, it's really something that you should do if you haven't already done it. You can go in. This will hopefully give you some tips to really get it set out. What the resume profile will do for you, it's going to, number one, help automate your job search. It's going to be a little bit broader of a search than that advanced search that Jeremy just went through. But our system will look at the criteria that you've entered in there and then send you new jobs of interest each day. That will be on your homepage that we looked at. It's also, as we've kind of touched on, it's going to allow you to apply for jobs with our FlexJobs featured employers who just want you to stay on our website and attach your resume profile. And for those of our job seekers who don't currently have a resume that they can upload to the site, you do have an area in the resume profile where you can create your resume and produce a PDF copy that you can give to employers. So Jeff, yep. So there's two types of employers on FlexJobs. Our first are the FlexJobs featured employers. We've talked about these. These are employers who have come directly to us here at FlexJobs wanting to post their jobs. They do have to be approved by us and screened by our staff before they can post anything. They will, once they're approved, post their jobs directly to our site, and they can also look through our job seekers' resume profiles and contact candidates. You can tell if an employer on our site is a featured employer in two ways. You'll see over on the right top example, the job title is in orange, and they also have the F-star, the orange F-star with the blue ring around it. That will designate a featured employer. Also, the link to apply for the jobs looks a little bit different. It says apply for this job. And then the second type of employers, we have external employers. These are companies that our job researchers have found through outside websites. We do the same screening and verify for legitimacy. They do not post their jobs directly to our site, and they cannot browse our job seekers' profiles. And how their jobs look on the site, you'll see on the right, it's a blue link for the job title, as well as the link to apply looks a little bit different. It says to apply or learn more, go to the original job post. So some tips for getting into the resume profile. You can always create more than one, so don't feel like you're limited to one. If you have different areas that you're searching in, like we talked about a writer, maybe you're a writer, but you're also an IT person, you can create as many profiles as you'd like. You just want to be clear and title each profile, and you want to fill out as much information as you can in the profile. It will really help with that automated job search and anyone who might be looking, a potential employer who might be looking through your profile. So Jess, if we could go over to the site, we'll go ahead and walk through a profile. Here we are. So here we are on our home page again, and there's two ways that you can access your resume profiles. In the right side, under the control panel, is the resume profile box. If you click that plus, you can bring up any of the profiles that you have, or you can create a new profile. In addition, you can scroll to the bottom page, to the bottom of the page on the lower left, and you'll see your resume profiles here. So if you want to click on create a new profile, I just want to show you an example of what you'll see when you come to the beginning of the profile. In that light blue box in the top, it says, in order to activate your profile, the following fields are required at a minimum. So you want to fill out your profile title. You want to fill out your job categories and your job details. As you work through your profile and you fill in those sections, that blue box, that lighter blue box on the top will disappear. So you'll know that your profile is active. So I just wanted to show that for a brand new profile. Jess, we can work with one of your current profiles if you want, or we can stay in here, whichever is easiest for you to navigate through. Okay, so here is one profile that we have. You're going to start the first, that dark blue box up above is the different tabs that we'll be working through. So the first tab is your About Me tab, and your profile title is your first option. And again, like in the advanced search, on the right, upper right of each box, there's a little tip area. When you click on that, it'll bring up tips, you know, on the toolbar on the right-hand side. So if you forget anything or you want some additional really good tips, you can always click on that. The first section or the first box that you'll be filling out is your profile title. This is the first thing that an employer will see when they look at your profile, so we highly recommend that you do take some time to put some thought into it. You want to be specific and unique. Say, for instance, HR consultant, recruiter with 10 years experience, specialty in finance and IT fields. That gives a lot of information. What we don't want you to put in the profile title is any personal identifiers, like your name or phone number or anything like that. You want it to be just a generic title. We don't want you to put your personal information in there because profile titles can be found by search engines, and we want to protect your security that way. So just don't put anything personal in there. Okay, the next box is the contact information. So in this box, you can provide as much information as you want. You definitely want to have an email where any potential employer can contact you at. You want to make sure it's a professional email because you are presenting yourself to a company, so just make sure it's professional. If you have a website, say for instance your LinkedIn profile, you can enter that here. You can copy and paste from your LinkedIn to the site here. You definitely want to put your city and state into this area because that's going to help with that automated job search. If you just put United States, you could get jobs in different states all over. You could get the yellow pushpin jobs for location or the American flag. So it's really important that you at least put your city and state in. That's going to narrow it down. And let's see. The next is the picture. Now the picture can make people nervous. If you don't feel comfortable adding a picture, don't do it. It's completely preferential. It doesn't, you know, an employer's not going to pass you over because you don't have a picture in there. So don't feel like you have to, but if you want to, make sure you use a friendly, professional picture because, again, just like your profile title, it's going to be the first thing that an employer sees. They're going to look at it and you're going to be making an impression. So you want to make sure it's a professional picture that you have on there, just like Jess's. And as you move through each box in your editing, you want to make sure, like if we go down to the next box, just the privacy status, each user has an option of how they want their profiles to be seen. So the first option is active and public. This means anyone on any web search could search for your profile. We at FlexJobs do not recommend that, but if you choose to have it that way, you can certainly have it that way. Again, we don't recommend that because someone could search you on Google and find your information. What we recommend is the middle level, which is active and private. What that is going to do, your profile can be seen by the featured employers who come to us so they can search for you. Your profile will be available to them. Some people don't want it completely private. That would be the last option, private and inactive. And again, that's your choice. No one would be able to search for you, but if there was a company, a featured company that wanted you to apply through FlexJobs, you would still be able to attach your resume profile. So you're releasing it only to who you want to. And then on the bottom box, it's always important in each area to click Save. That's going to save your options. Finally, on the About Me tab is your home office. Because there's so many jobs that allow you on our site to work from your home office, even if it's occasionally, it's helpful for employers to know the type of equipment you have. And we're just talking about major office equipment, say for instance printers, scanners, copiers, fax, paper shredder, that kind of thing, not necessarily office furniture if you were thinking about putting that down, just the major equipment that you have. And then there's two ways to navigate through the tabs. You see this link here. It says go to the next tab, which is My Job Search. So basically, as you're moving through the profile, you just want to fill out each box. You can also navigate on the dark blue tab at the top. So the first box here is your job categories. Each resume profile you have can have a maximum of 5 job categories. So again, if you have 10 categories that you want to search for or you want our system to be looking for you, you can create a second profile. As far as the categories, you want to pick types of jobs which you're interested in, for which you're qualified, and also industries you've worked in before. That's going to give you a good range of the jobs on our site and get you the jobs that you're actually qualified for. And you could do 2 separate profiles, one in areas where you're very experienced. The second profile could be one where you may have a little experience, but you want to branch out into some different areas. And creating more than one profile could also help you market your different skill sets that you have, maybe transferable skills between different categories. And then the next area, the job details. In this area, you can be as flexible or specific as you like. You really only want to choose ones that you're really willing to work with. Like if you absolutely don't want to have a temporary job, you want to make sure that's not on there. So you want to be very, narrow it down to what you're willing to work. Obviously, you don't want to be getting, suggestions and you're like, that doesn't apply to me. I don't want to be a volunteer. Well, you can always check back and say, oops, I have that box checked. So you can also select the schedule, your career level. You want to be honest in your assessment. You don't want to choose a level that you're really not qualified for, and it's safer to choose what best describes your current or previous jobs. Your education, of course, you can put that. Your desired salary, completely preferential. If you do put a salary in there, you want to try to make sure it's in line with your current industry. You don't want to, put it so high that an employer wouldn't want to consider you, and you don't want to put it so low that you'd be, cheating yourself out of what you should be getting. So again, that's completely preferential. And then another compensation, yes, ice cream. That would be a great benefit to have. So you could also put, whatever benefits you're looking for in there. Not necessary, but it's certainly something that you can have for an employer to look at. And then we move on to the availability and schedule. This area gives potential employers an idea of your availability. Job flexibility. I skipped over one there. So the flexibility, again, you want to make sure you choose what you're interested in. If you don't want a freelance job, make sure you uncheck that. This telecommuting box, I see a lot of profiles that don't have the telecommuting. If you are interested in telecommuting, you definitely want to fill that out. Sometimes, I don't know, people don't always make it to the bottom of the page, so that's an important thing also with automated job search, and if you're willing to travel. Again, be very clear here. Don't say maybe if you don't want to travel at all, so you can be very specific on there. And then we go to the availability and schedule. This is going to give an employer an idea about your availability. The broader options, you pick the wider range of job opportunities that will be matched to your profile. That's pretty self-explanatory there. And then our next tab is the Upload Resume tab. So a lot of our job seekers already have resumes, and this is where you can upload your resume. You want to make sure that any prospective employer who would be looking at your profile can actually open up your documents. So you want to use file types that are universal, such as a .doc, .txt, and PDFs. It's not recommended to do a .docx or .wps because a lot of people don't have that software to open it up. So just make sure it's universal because your resume is on there and you definitely want the employer to see that. Before you even post your resume, make sure that you check through it, check your spelling, grammatical errors, and make sure it's correct before you upload it. You can always remove it. You can always delete it and update it and add it back on there. But it's just an extra step before you upload it to make sure it's correct. And you try to fix anything before it's actually attached. And here, since you'll know your resume is attached, you see that file name there. It says resume.docx. If it's blank there, you know that your resume is not attached, and it'll just show your file name. And if you want to edit it, Jess, if you want to click on the edit again, if you ever decide you want to change your resume, you just click that edit link and delete. Or if the same goes conversely when you want to add it, you'll browse the file. And then you always want to make sure you click Save. And then we do have an area for work samples. If you're going to add some work samples, you want to choose the ones that you feel show your professional qualifications. We don't recommend that you upload more than 5. This area is meant to give an employer an idea of what you do, not to be an online portfolio. So that's, excuse me, what you want to do in there. If you have more than one work sample, you should be able to drag and drop. I know there's only one there. And then there's the links on the side where you can edit, delete. A lot of employers, or not a lot of employers, some employers who are featured employers will ask you to maybe attach a writing sample or something like that. If they're asking for any sample like that, you can include it in your resume profile and send that to them. All right, so the next tab is the Build Resume tab. This is, again, the area for our job seekers who do not currently have a resume. So we'll just kind of briefly go over this because it's pretty self-explanatory. The first area is going to be your summary objective. This is where you can tell employers exactly what you think they should know about you and that you're a great candidate. You can highlight your professional strengths, describe your career objectives, and what you're looking for in a position. And then, yes, definitely click Save. Then we go into your work experience. You always want to be accurate with your work experience. That goes without being said. It's best to include only the work experiences that are relative to the type you're interested in doing and that highlight your transferable skills. And we really, you know, you don't want to type every single work experience in there if it's not applicable. And back to the last maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years even, but you really want to, you really want to put in there what is going to make that employer look at you for those skills for the particular job that you're applying for or the area of employment that you're looking for. All right, and then the next box is your education. You're going to be obviously putting in your education and along with the dates. Some people ask if you need to put the education dates in there, but yes, an employer will want to see the dates that you were in school and that sort of information, so that's definitely something that you want to have there. And then we go to skills. You can always put your skills in. There's more skills are better than less. You can put in computer skills, say for instance HTML, JavaScript. You can put business skills such as training, public speaking, specific skills to your job industry. If you are working in an industry like the insurance industry and you have certain designations, you can put in your skills, specific skills to that job or that area of interest that you are looking at going into, so the employer knows that you have those. You can also do soft skills like communicating, multitasking, problem solving, a bunch of things. And you can always, remember, you can always go in and change anything you need to in here, update it, that kind of thing. And then the next box is languages. If you speak any different languages, definitely type those in there. Some employers are looking for bilingual candidates or even more candidates who speak more than one language. So put that in there. And then certification and memberships. These are good to show that you're committed in an industry or career, say if there's certain designations you have, or it can also highlight your commitment to continued education and learning. And then the last box, honors and awards. Certainly put those in there if you feel they're applicable, and again show that you can go above and beyond. So if we go to the next tab, this is My PDF tab. This is where you can actually open up your PDF resume to see what it looks like. You can download it to your computer as well, so you can use it to apply with companies for jobs. And we're going to open it up here and see what it looks like. Of course, the more information that you have in there, the different it's going to look, but that would be an example of your PDF resume that you can use. And again, if you've already downloaded your resume, you can skip the Build Resume section. Another way to view what a potential employer could see your profile, just above the My PDF, that blue link where it says View My Profile. If you click on that, this is what a potential employer, a featured employer, would see when they're looking through the profiles. So they'll have all the information, and then on the bottom is where you will see your resume attached. Also, any work samples would be loaded there as well. And then an employer would just click on that link, and it would bring up the resume to view. So after you've gotten to the very end, you've gone through all the tabs, then you can go back to, if we could go back to the My FlexJobs home, Justin, you can always get to the home page from your control panel. And then the second box that Jeremy kind of touched on, the new jobs of interest. This is where you're going to see all the jobs our system has identified for you. And in the lower left-hand part of that box, if you click on it, you can get into the complete list. And then you can search through. Again, this is going to be a broad search, so don't be alarmed if you may receive a nursing job and you're not a nurse, because, again, the jobs are categorized by our job categories. So you could, a customer service category could be with a nursing job as well as with an inbound call center job. So don't be alarmed if you're seeing some things that may be outside of your realm. It's just an idea that our system is sending you. You can delete or save any of those jobs from that new jobs of interest page. And thanks for navigating, Jess. I think I'm going to pass it over to you, and I think that concludes our resume profile section.
Thank you, Karen. And one little thing, too, is you can always see your resume profiles and delete them from your home page. So if you ever create more than enough profiles for what you're looking for, if you have one that you kind of started and you don't need anymore, like this one, you can just go in and delete it to take it off of your account, because you cannot do that over here on the resume profile on the control panel. So thank you so much, you guys. It looks like we've got a few questions, so if you want to start sending those over, if you have them for us, we would be glad to answer them. Let's see here. So we will start
And Jess,
out.
real quick, sorry, can we go back to the PowerPoint? I forgot to mention one thing.
Absolutely.
If you guys ever, want a refresher course on that resume profile, in the tips toolbar area of the resume profile, there will also be a 10-minute video that we have. You can click on the blue link that says watch this video, and it will take you through that profile again. And that was it. I just wanted to mention that.
Sure. Okay, so then we can go into, and you can see that, for example, on this one, when you first click in, this tip toolbar right here has the video, so you can pull that up, and that can also be great help, just kind of going back through what we've gone through. If you ever want to kind of slow it down and go through step by step, you're welcome to do that as well. All right, so let's see here. The first question I guess we'll ask here is, are cover letters ever advised, and how do we submit them?
Yep, great question. I'll take that one, and then you guys can definitely add on or provide any more information. But yes, definitely. Cover letters are still very important. You can go to our community and blog area of the site as well to get ideas on cover letters. How to write them, how to make yourself stand out. But yeah, still really important. I talk to employers a lot who will, a lot of times they'll screen by that. If someone does not submit a cover letter with a resume, a lot of times that will get that resume not looked at. So again, a well-written cover letter, customized for that job, why you're the right candidate for that job, very important. So yeah, I would say most, if not all, employers are still expecting a good cover letter, a well-written cover letter.
Yeah, and that's definitely a great tip to come to the community and blog section on our website. There are a lot of wonderful articles about how to prepare a cover letter and why different tips are advisable to get that notice from an employer by writing a really stellar cover letter, because that oftentimes can be the determining factor between two candidates with similar backgrounds. The cover letter can be the thing that makes a difference. So to submit it with a resume when you're applying to a featured employer, there is actually an area that will give you, I'll see if I can find one real quick here. So for instance, position with us. If you go here and go to the bottom and click to apply for this job, it is going to pull up an area for you to cut and paste the cover letter to the employer directly. So there is an area to submit it with the resume. So that was another question as well.
Perfect. And then while you're on this page, just quickly, and then if you look down below that section where you can input your cover letter, you can choose your resume profile. So if you have multiple resume profiles and you want to select the one to send to this employer, you would find it in the drop-down right there. And then once you have your cover letter cut and paste in there, then you would apply for that job.
Perfect. We have some questions about skills tests, which we have not really touched on at all, so I'm going to kind of combine a couple of them. If you take a skills test, does that information show up in your profile? And what is the value of taking the skills test?
Karen, do you want to take that question?
Sure. Absolutely. Yes, any skill test you take, any score above 70, any score which is 70% or above, will reflect in your resume profile. You can, if you took a test and got a 75 and thought you could do better, you can always go back and delete any of the tests that you would like to. In the control panel on the right-hand side where it says Skills Test, if you click the plus there, it'll allow you to either take a test or look at your skills test results. That skill test results page is where you can delete any test that you took, even if you got a 70% and you didn't want it on your profile, you can delete it. It will record scores if it's below 70% for you to see, but no potential employer would see them. And the skills tests can help you stand out to potential employers. Like if you're looking for customer service, there's customer service skills tests. Some employers, the featured employers, in their job description, they will recommend, they'll say, please take the marketing test, please take the outbound sales tests, that sort of thing. So when an employer, that's another use for them, when an employer recommends that you take them, you really should be taking those tests because they want to see what your skills are in those areas. You can take a test over. You can take them as many times as you want. They're free with your subscription. You just have to wait 24 hours before you go in and retake that same test.
Right.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay. We have a question. How do we, or is it possible, I guess would be a more accurate way of putting it, to have your saved searches sent to you as your new job of interest emails?
Yeah, good question. Actually, two separate things. So you will get new jobs of interest emails when you have a profile filled out, like Jess filled out. You also do need to check a box where you're saying, yes, please send me new jobs of interest. So Jess, if you go to account information, we can just pull that up quickly to look at. So account information, then email preference. Yeah, so here is where you choose whether you want to receive job notifications, so that first one. So again, would you like to receive notifications when a new job is posted to categories matching your profile? So that's job notifications. That's what the email you get that'll show you things that are matching your profile. And then saving a search works off of the advanced search options page. So that first section we went through when we were filling out the advanced search options page, that's where you save a search. So again, that would come up under your file on your My FlexJobs homepage. Actually, Jess, if you go back to the My FlexJobs homepage, then we can show where that resides when you do save a search. So again, under Job Search Activity, you click on that last tab on the right called Save Searches, and that's where any saved search you have will be.
And you can run these searches on a daily basis, but there's not a way to have those emailed to you directly. So if you're wanting to see the results of a saved search that you have set on your account, the only way to see the jobs that are new under that criteria is to go into your account. And all you have to do is click the blue, and it will run that saved search for you right away. So it's a pretty easy way to kind of negotiate the saved searches. So we have a question as to whether or not we have an RSS feed of job listings. The answer to that is no. We don't have that capacity right now, and it hasn't been something that we're probably going to do just because of the membership issue with having the accounts private and paid for. So people are getting the value they pay for directly. So another question that I can ask real quick is, do we actively delete postings that have been filled? Can we assume that a job originally posted weeks or months ago is still open if it's posted?
Yeah, Karen, you want to take that one?
Yep. Yeah, we definitely work very hard to keep our database clean and up to date, and we do hand clean our database regularly to keep our listings current and accurate. We do remove filled positions on a daily basis. Sometimes because of the volume of jobs that we have on our site, I know today I believe it's over 18,300 different jobs. Sometimes they will fall through the cracks, or perhaps an employer will take down a posting quicker than or sooner than they originally stated that they would. In that case, if you do find a job where the link is not working or it says it has been filled, you can flag the job. So within the job details there right next to the posting, if you click on that flag this job and let us know that the position has been filled, we will remove it from our site. Again, we're sorry for the times when this does happen, but At the same time, we work very hard, weekly, daily cleanings to make sure everything's up to date. Some of those older positions also that you see with older dates may be a hard to fill position. So just because you see an older date on a job does not necessarily mean it is no longer active.
And also companies may be hiring for more than one person. So the dates on the positions oftentimes can exclude completely qualified candidates because they look at that, whereas the job is open and they may be hiring for more than one candidate. The average job stays on a job board 45 days before it is filled. So dates are really just provided so that you know when it was posted on our site, but that should not be a determining factor whether or not you apply for a position. So that's great. Thank you so much, Karen. The next question that we have is, how do I exclude college degree necessary jobs? And I'm more than happy to take this one if you guys would like me to.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have a way to exclude based on education levels required because some employers don't have those listed, but we do have an entry-level jobs section on the job categories. So these are going to be positions that do not have the same level of requirements as far as experience or education, but they do, some of them do still have those educational requirements. So at this time we don't have a way to completely exclude jobs based on the educational requirements on our site. So it does look like it is noon right now, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I do want to say thank you so much to everyone for all of the great questions and for Jeremy and Karen coming on and going through and explaining how we work on things here at FlexJobs and get to hopefully moving towards positions that will be a great fit for you. So again, make sure and go to flexjobs.com. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to email our client service team at feedback@flexjobs.com. And we wish you all the best in your job search and your career. Thank you very much, you guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.